Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 2023-2024 Red, White, and Blue Schools Kickoff. Just going to give everybody a minute to have time to join us. But in the meantime, we have a couple of polls for everybody. This is to test out a couple of our general knowledge of Connecticut civics. I'm going to launch the first poll while we're waiting for everybody to join us. Feel free to answer if you think you know the answer. In the meantime, a couple of housekeeping. We are recording this webinar. It's going to be available on the Red, White, and Blue school website. And if you have any questions throughout the kickoff, please leave them in the Q&A. We will be keeping an eye on those, and hopefully we'll be able to answer all of your questions. And also, you're, of course, welcome to use the chat, which is also being monitored. I'm going to end the first poll and give you the answer. Most people answered Yankee Doodle, and that is correct. The state song is Yankee Doodle. Okay. Got another one. Another quick one while we wait for more people to join us. How many justices serve in the Connecticut Supreme Court? There's more variety of answers here. Second. Okay, end it there. Okay, most people answered 9, but the correct answer is 7. There are 7 justices in our Supreme Court. Okay, so I think we're ready to kick off this kickoff. I would like to present our MC for the day. It's Ariane Orozco from the Secretary of the Connecticut State Office. Take it away, Ariane.
Thank you. Yes, hello everyone. I'm the Director of Outreach and Engagement at the Office of the Secretary of the State. Thank you so much for joining the Red, White, and Blue Schools Kickoff webinar today. And we're thrilled to have had so many educators sign up for the webinar, but of course we want even more people to know about this important program. So we hope that you will help us promote the program, help us by spreading the word, telling other teachers and school administrators about it. So we have a wonderful lineup of speakers for you today. In our first segment, we'll hear from 2 people who know the program quite well, as they're from Chippens Hill Middle School, which was selected as our outstanding school this past year. We have a pre-recorded message from an incredible student, Gabby Sanford. Then we'll hear from Danielle Johnson, the amazing teacher who organized the projects, really spearheaded the efforts at the school, and then sent the submission into us. And then we'll hear from Megan Altamari, the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club in Milford, who has been instrumental over the past many months in helping us as we've been refreshing and revamping this program. So let's get started with the video from Gabby.
Being involved in student council allows students to have their voices and opinions heard in a school environment. Also, by having students involved in the decisions allows everyone to feel included. Along with student government, learning about history plays a role in your growth as a citizen. We get to learn about the past through hands-on activities, including historical artifacts. I hope all students can get the opportunity to learn about government and history the way I do.
And Danielle.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle Johnson, and I am an 8th grade social studies teacher at Chippenshill Middle School. I also teach an elective called AVID over at Chippenshill, and I am I'm the coordinator for that program. Over at Chippenshill, we do a lot of civic engagement opportunities for our students inside the classroom, along with after-school activities. So we have a student council that one of our 7th grade teachers runs, where students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade can participate. We have it so that an 8th grade student has to be the president. 7th or 8th grade student can be the vice president. Any graded student can be treasurer or secretary. And then we also have 1 to 2 students be a team representative, since each of our grade levels are in a teamed environment. These students participate in a weekly after school activity with that advisor, and they participate in meetings, in creating projects for the school, fundraising, coming up with different ways to better our school environment. We also have students that participate in History Day as a after school club, but also with individual teachers. We also have a club, a volunteer club called Kids in the Middle, where, since we are a middle school, where they volunteer in the community and in our schools, from putting flags in local cemeteries for Veterans Day to volunteering with some nursing homes in the community, playing bingo, and volunteering at our Mum Festival that we have in Bristol every year, and from other activities that we do, from writing letters on Veterans Day and other kind of activities in that regard. We also, in 8th grade, teach U.S. history. So we try and engage students by learning how did our government and history kind of start here in the United States, and really spin it in a civic and civil justice and social justice mindset. And as 3 8th grade social studies teachers, really push for civic engagement and really building citizens across the 3 teams, the 8th grade teams that we have. We work with a variety of museums and local institutions to make sure that kids can have a hands-on experience. We work with the Connecticut Historical Society a lot with hands-on activities, and the kids really get to learn about history through those hands-on exploration. Also working with the Gettysburg Foundation and some of the national parks have been a way for kids to learn with hands-on history, which has been a great way for them to kind of live the history, even if it's inside the classroom. Also, we really love to work with those primary sources and getting kids to look at the documents themselves and having them really understand and see what do historians do. So even if students don't want to go into the history field or the government field or the civic field, they can be better citizens, and they can really understand our history as a country and kind of bring our country forward. We also have, I forgot to mention, a program after school called TLT, which is called Tomorrow Leaders Today, where students build up leadership skills and how they can, as 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, what can they do on their own to help out their community, whether it's their family, their school community, or their local community. So these are just some things that we've been able to build up within our own staff that we really pull from the social studies curriculum, but also local institutions here in Connecticut.
Thank you so much. Megan.
Danielle, you are inspiring. What a great job. So my name is Megan. I'm the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club in Milford. I've had the honor on this task, Secretary Thomas, and this amazing. Over the past couple months, we really were thinking about how can we engage the students? How can we make sure that they're learning and having fun? And Secretary Thomas has come to my Boys and Girls Club, and she's done these really awesome Jeopardy days where we're teaching kids about civic engagement. And I could not believe how excited the kids were to learn about it, which inspired me to run an advocacy program for my kids. And now if we can work together with our local school systems just to expand on that. I think the theme this year of connecting communities is the perfect opportunity for each of the schools to reach out to your local nonprofits. Maybe you have a Boys and Girls Club, maybe you have a YMCA, a Rotary Club, a Kiwanis Club. There's many nonprofits in this wonderful state we live in that we could lean on for support. We know our teachers and our faculty are doing so much within the day, and anything that we can do to support you and that your students is exactly what our goals are. At least that's what our goals are here at the Boys and Girls Club. So the way I envision this working is the teachers would develop the curriculum and the plan, but you would lean on your nonprofit for the support. So we would come in and we'd be able to run those after school programs. We would be able to make those, again, lasting connections with the kids so they have support within school as well as after school, and we're able to implement your curriculum and do your activities without asking the teachers and faculty to do one more thing on top of your very busy days with your curriculum and amazing things that you're doing for our students here in Connecticut. I think that anything that a nonprofit can do, at least from my Boys and Girls Club side, I'm more than willing to do that to help this project be successful. Civics has become a really important thing for Boys and Girls Clubs, from everything from teaching them and having Secretary Thomas down to our club to bringing them to Washington, D.C. and teaching them about how important their voice is and how strong it is and what they're able to accomplish. So anything that a nonprofit can do, if anyone would like to reach out to me personally, and I'm happy to brainstorm ideas with you on how we can work together to implement the red, white, and blue schools at your school in conjunction with a nonprofit.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Danielle and Megan. So you may or may not know that Red, White, and Blue Schools is a collaborative effort between three separate entities, and we're fortunate to have the leaders of each of these entities with us to speak with us today. First, we'll hear from the Connecticut Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, and then we'll hear from the Connecticut State Department of Education Commissioner, Charlene Russell Tucker, and then we'll hear from the Executive Director of the Connecticut Democracy Center at Connecticut's Old State House, Sally Whipple. We'll start off with Secretary Thomas.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you, Ariane. I'm really excited to be here to kick off this year's Red, White, and Blue School Initiative. This has been a long time passion project for this office, even before I got here. But I'm really excited this year that we're making a special effort to involve teachers beyond just history and social studies. So I can't wait to see some of the creative projects that come up. But since I'm speaking to a group of educators, you got a little taste with a quiz earlier today. My passion is civic education, so I'm going to give you a couple of more quiz questions, and Mariana is going to help me. So you can launch the next question. What is the minimum age requirement to run for governor in Connecticut? We'll give you a couple seconds, no Googling. I know it's tempting. Okay, let's or I'll let Mariana take control. Oh wait, oops, I have too many windows open. Ah, interesting. 21, 35, no minimum age. The correct answer is, actually, I forget. I just realized I actually don't know the answer to that one because I was confused myself. So I'm going to ask my staff to answer it. But in the meanwhile, let's launch the next question. Minimum age requirement to be a poll worker. This is something I deal with every day. I definitely know the answer to this one. All right, how do we do? Interesting. Well, 7% of you are correct. You only have to be 16 in Connecticut to be a poll worker. And thank you, comms team. The answer to run for governor is age 30 in Connecticut. And my last question, which election will occur on April 2nd, 2024? All right, how do we do? Oh, once again, all right. So the right answer is presidential preference primary at 33%. Thank you for playing. I do not do these quizzes to make people feel bad about their own civic knowledge, but to point out how important it is that we teach civics. No one ever gets 100% on these quizzes. And if you don't know the answers, we know our students don't know the answers. So I have really been focusing on putting civics first because I don't want Connecticut to get a C grade or F grade. I need us to boost our GPA. So how can students expect to be our future leaders and change makers if we don't take an active role in teaching them about how government works and how they can make their voice heard? So the Red, White, and Blue School program help us bridge all of these concepts, and we hope you'll commit to furthering your own student civic education because you all play a vital role in shaping these young minds. Last year, we had many people participate in this webinar and many more listen to it after the fact, yet only a handful of schools actually submitted projects in the end. So we know you're very busy. So this year, we took special effort to try to make this as easy for you to participate as possible. Our young people are so passionate, as you know, about all the issues of the day. And I keep talking to high school students who feel like they are losing hope that they can actually make change happen. So please help us inspire them. I thank you for being here today, and I look forward to seeing your projects. And I will kick it to the next speaker, I believe Commissioner Russell Tucker.
That is correct. And thank you so very much. It is exciting to be here with all of you today. And Danielle and Megan, thank you for inspiring us, sharing what can happen at the local level and the collaboration that is so necessary. This program is well positioned, as you've heard, to instill a greater sense of civic responsibility in our students while cultivating this generation of active and engaged citizens. And the program continues to be a proven method of not just educating students in history and facts. Thank you for what you shared with us. Did some learning here myself. But it is also about getting them involved and engaged civically, introducing them to government at the state and the local level. As you've heard, our theme is connecting communities, and that is so appropriate for what Megan shared and what Danielle shared. And I'm so thrilled that our educators are here with us because it's going to take them, right, to help to inspire our students and working with our community partners as necessary. And this connecting communities is about connecting classrooms in a school or connecting schools or connecting with the larger community. And I have to share with you, I've seen firsthand recent examples of this through our Voice for Change program, which was the first of its kind in the country, statewide civic engagement program that gave high school students a voice in how some of our COVID federal dollars could be invested. I share this with you because I see the possibility and the potential for this program in the same manner. In the past month, we've been able to celebrate the ribbon cutting of an outdoor pavilion in Derby that was led, the development was led by a Derby High School student. This past Friday, if you were watching Channel 8, you'll see that they went out to Bristol, and it was the ribbon cutting for a healing garden that, again, led by a student who pitched a project worked diligently. It was promoted in the school. It was voted on. There was a voting day. They had to campaign. And so both projects are benefiting the entire school community and the entire school community. So similarly, I get excited about the benefits of the Red, White, and Blue Schools program, basically where students can gain insights into decision-making processes, resource allocation. Trust me, they had to do this and develop a budget for the work that was done in those two projects that I mentioned, and the delivery of essential services. And so we know the value of participating and bringing our students, our educators, and community members, as Megan mentioned, together to work together to have positive impact. Service projects, community projects, awareness campaigns, and more. This is just a valuable source. And for educators here, I know it's also a valuable resource for you for training and supports and developing innovative methods that's going to inspire a lifelong love of learning in our students. So I am really excited to be here participating with our Secretary of the State, Secretary Thomas, the Connecticut Democracy Center at the Connecticut Old State House Executive Director Whipple, and our other partners who are part of this. It truly is, this collaboration is a testament to our unwavering commitment to instilling this sense of civic responsibility in our students while cultivating a generation of active and engaged citizens. So I, like Secretary Thomas, is looking forward to seeing the projects and the programs that come out of this year's initiative. And I'm going to take what we've learned in promoting our other program to make sure that we get you and our students in front of the cameras and the press and our state board and all that, just so that we can augment the work that you're doing locally. So thank you for the work that I know that you're going to do. I stand ready to support with our partners here to support you and to support our students. Our theme is infinite possibilities, and I do believe it really is infinite possibilities to what I know we can achieve together. So thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to all your great work. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really inspiring. I have the opportunity to talk to you about some resources that are available to you if you're participating in Red, White, and Blue Schools. First, I'd like to say that we're really happy at the Connecticut Democracy Center at the Old State House to be one of the partners on this project, because we really believe in helping everybody teach and learn civics better along a lifetime pathway from the very youngest age until you're well into adulthood. So when I thought about telling you about resources, one of the things I thought about was a podcast that I listened to this morning where they talked about task freeze. And task freeze is when you look at your to-do list and there's so much on it that you just freeze and you can't do anything on it. And sometimes it feels like resources are like that. There are so many out there. How do you pick and choose what you're going to do? So I'm going to tell you about some of these resources, but also let you know that if you need to call us at the Democracy Center, we're happy to help you think through and understand a little bit more about some of these resources and how you might use them in your class. As you saw, Danielle took a whole smorgasbord of different things that she did with her students, all of them driving at that idea of civics. And history is a part of civics, and community service is part of civics, and learning about how government works as part of civics. These are all of the things that come together to really help develop a student into a full and fully engaged citizen. You really need to look at skills, knowledge, civic dispositions, all kinds of different aspects of life in order to be a good citizen. And there are many, many resources available to help you do that. So I'm going to touch on a few of them, and these include you can look at field trips, you can look at speakers, you can look at books for students to read about civics and democracy. There are all kinds of things that you can do. And of course, working with nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club. There are lots and lots of national resources, and they are growing every day. You're probably familiar with iCivics, which is a website, an organization that provides really engaging civic resources. And they're behind a lot of the national civics work that's going on, including Civics Learning Week. Civics Learning Week is something that you can join in virtually. You can watch last year's Civics Learning Week on the Civics Learning Week website. This year, you can engage with it from March 11th to 15th. And this is a program that is really inspiring for everybody, I think. There are things that you can do with your students, but it really is a celebration of civics education and those who are teaching civics. And it highlights the importance of civics education. And I think sometimes when you're faced with a lot of different things to do, and then you think, well, now I've got to teach civics, it will really inspire you and make you understand more and feel more how important that is for your students and for you. So that's a wonderful thing to tune into Civic Learning Week. At the state level, we have a lot going on too. This year, there's a group of museums that has a 3-year grant from the Connecticut Department of Education. And that grant is designed to provide discounted field trips with discounted buses to 5 museums in the state who have joined together and are presenting civics programs. We're one of those places. We offer Connecticut's Kid Governor, and we also offer field trips. And these resources are limited to kids in grades K through 5. But those museums who are participating are Connecticut's Old State House, the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History, who you may better know by their old name, Connecticut Historical Society, the Fairfield Museum and History Center, the Mark Twain House and Museum, and Mystic Seaport. And all of these museums are offering a discounted admission of $2 for their civics programs, plus help with busing. So that is an important thing to know about, because going on a field trip is a wonderful way to learn about civics and about our state. We're also working with a number of partners right in the capital city who are really teaching about state government. And we all have field trips that we can offer to you, as well as other supplemental programs. Those would be the Connecticut's Old State House, which talks about history. It's an old state capital that served in the 18th and 19th century. But you can also get free tours for your students in grades 4 and up at the state capitol. And that's always a really great experience, so kids can see government in action while they're visiting the Capitol and the Legislative Office Building. You can also do tours of the Supreme Court, tours of the Connecticut State Library, and look all around that Capitol campus and see what's going on in the capital city. These organizations all offer programs, and a new one that was recently offered, and I think is a really great one, is the Civics Academy, and that's offered by the Connecticut Judicial Branch. And that program brings judges and attorneys into the classroom to discuss topics like rules and fairness, representative democracy, and democracy in you. And so those are all great programs that you can go out to, and some have options to bring people into your classroom. There's also lots of professional development out there, and with the new standards that have just been approved, there will be lots more professional development. I want to mention one. This is really focused more for older grades, middle and high school, but it's one that you could participate in and bring back to your students. One really important part of civics is civic and civil dialogue, the ability for people to talk to each other and have conversations. And that's sometimes really missing in a lot of parts of our world, including schools. So on November 18th, we're going to have Joe Schmidt at the Old State House. The topic of the program is a republic, if we can keep it, civil discourse in our classrooms and communities. And he has written a book on best practices in civil discourse and student engagement. And he will be leading teachers through a workshop that day so that you can really learn all about how to have really healthy discussions with your students. He's going to be showing you a variety of models. There's a fee for that. It's $20 a person, but you'll get a copy of Joe Schmidt's book, Civil Discourse, Classroom Conversations for Stronger Communities. And I like that he named it that, because that conversation that you can learn in the classroom is something that will carry over into community life as students get older. There are also resources online. The Connecticut Humanities has Teach It, which is a whole site of lesson plans. There are a couple in there on civics. One of them that I'd like to recommend, particularly with our focus this year on community, is called Government is People. And that's one that we worked on with a teacher named Liberty Swift, who really gets across to her students, the idea that government isn't just something that exists in Washington or in Hartford that you cannot have access to. It is made up of people. And so she has brought lots of people from local and state government into her classroom to talk to the kids so that they understand if they have a problem and government needs to fix it, they can access people in government because they are people. And that's something that a lot of kids don't really understand growing up. So there are lesson plans for how to do that, how to set up a classroom experience for your students to talk to people who work in government. There's also one there about helping students find their voices, and this one is based actually on our Kid Governor program. I know a lot of programs out there really help students find their voice, and that is so important for students to know that they have a voice, to know how to find it, and then how to use it effectively through writing letters or all kinds of ways, and understanding that you don't just have to vote to express your voice. There are a lot of ways you can speak at hearings, you can do all kinds of things to let people know what your thoughts are about your community and the direction you think it should go in. And we also have a program called Connecticut History Day, which Danielle talked about before. And a lot of people think, well, what does history have to do with civics? And as Danielle pointed out, it has everything to do with civics because it provides you with the historical context you need to know to think about what's happening in the present, but it also helps you learn research and analytical skills and how to really understand different resources. So I think the state has a lot going on in civics. You're going to see more and more coming up, I think, as the new standards come out. Turn to your museums, turn to your local museums. We're all here to help you, and we would love to help you sort through some of the resources that are available and really find the things that are going to speak to your students and allow them to raise their voices and learn how to be engaged citizens. Thanks. And Ariane, I think it's set.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sally. Wow, that was a wonderful list of resources, and I know there's even more. So thank you, and thank you to Commissioner and the Secretary as well. Thank you for being great leaders in this effort. So one of our goals in revamping Red, White, and Blue schools was to make it simpler for teachers to participate, and we wanted to rework the website to make it easier to navigate and just be more helpful overall. So I am going to share my screen to show you the website and kind of walk you through it. And meanwhile, also kind of explain the program as I go here to give you some more details. So I'll try and run through this, but we do want to be sure that you understand the program itself. So first of all, our website for Red, White, and Blue Schools is housed on Connecticut Old State House's website. So if you go to the Old State House site under the education button up top here, you'll see Red, White, and Blue Schools, and you'll click on that. You'll come to our homepage here, Red, White, and Blue Schools. It's our new logo for this year. So slightly rebranded and with our 3 partner logos. So basically a couple of key points I want to be sure that you all understand. First of all, this Red, White, and Blue Schools is for grades K through 12. So this is open to all grades to participate. The rubrics are a little bit different for K through 5 than for 6 through 12, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But we really want to show that, civics can be taught and experienced at all ages, but, probably in different ways, but this is for all ages. Another important element of this program is that submissions can come from one class, they can come from one grade, they can come from a school, or they could come from a whole school system. So, it definitely reduces the burden on one teacher if we have multiple teachers kind of working together, multiple classes working on projects that can then all be compiled and outlined in one submission. So you can apply, you can send in your submission based, you know, in any of those ways. So you'll have between now and April 26th to execute your different projects, write up a description on the different projects, include some photos or graphics if you'd like, and then submit it to us. So that April 26th deadline, I just want to point that out because it is a little bit earlier than it has been in previous years. So it was mid-May in the past, and we just found that created, it was a little bit late for us to then, you know, kind of set up the presentations before the end of the school year. So we've moved that submission deadline to April 26th. And you'll receive reminders throughout the year just to be sure that you're not missing the deadline. So then we will review the submissions that we receive and announce all of the red, white, and blue schools, as well as announce who will be recognized as our outstanding school for the year, which is what Chippen's Hill was last year. So this might be one school that's an outstanding school, or we might have up to 3 schools that are outstanding schools. So it kind of just depends on the submissions that we receive. We will have an official certificate presentation. And for the first time, we'll also be awarding cash prizes. So this is very exciting that thanks to a generous donation from Connecticut Humanities, we are able to offer cash prizes this year. So this main page here does kind of outline pretty much everything that I said. Also gives a submission, the email where you can send your submissions, civics101@ct.gov. You can also view a beautiful photo of the award presentation at Chippen's Hill that took place in June. And then at the very bottom of the page, you see the various tabs that we have available. So I'll quickly touch on the resources page. The resources page here really includes many, if not all, of the resources that Sally mentioned earlier. We've separated, kind of categorized them into resources for teachers and resources for students, different websites that might be helpful to you, videos, books we might recommend, games. The iCivics site, of course, has some great games related to civics. So we do hope to continue to add to this page over the coming months. So we suggest continuing to revisit it. And the next tab is the events tab. So on the events page, here you see any events that we have coming up. So we are planning to hold a couple of additional webinars between now and April. So definitely check back. We'll be sending out emails to notify you. This is the page where this kickoff webinar will be posted as well. So you'll be able to see that again, if you'd like. Keep using this. And the frequently asked questions page. Anything that, any questions you might have that initial first page didn't cover, you can probably find here. A little bit of history about the program founded in 2016, why we think it's important, how you might be able to participate if you don't have a lot of time or resources, how to submit, And we even have an example of of last year's outstanding Red, White, and Blue School submission from Chipman's Hill here in case you need some inspiration. And of course, if you don't find what you're looking for, please do contact us on the contact us page. You have my information here at the Secretary of the State's office, my email, Steve Armstrong, who will be explaining the rubrics in just a moment, his email here as well. And Sally, if you do need help finding additional resources, she is definitely the person to go to. So you have all three of us, and please feel free to reach out to any of us if you need to. And I think the last page I'll just show you before we get to the rubrics is our former Red, White, and Blue Schools list. So if you do become a Red, White, and Blue school, or if you do are awarded the outstanding school, you will be listed here. So this is a nice, nice way to be recognized. All right. So now I'm going to introduce Steve Armstrong, who is the social studies consultant at the State Department of Education, and he's going to go over the rubrics. The rubrics can be found here on this rubrics site. And let's start with the grades K through 5, and I'll keep sharing my screen here.
Marion, can you make that a little bigger?
How's that?
Great.
That good? Okay.
Can everybody see that all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. A couple, just to reiterate a couple comments that people have made. Remember that this is a thing. Civics and civic activities are sometimes done in social studies classes, but they can also be done in language arts classes and arts classes and science classes and wherever you want to do them. So part of the Red, White, and Blue program is to hopefully hold civics. Sure, we still want it to be done in those civics classes, but let's reach out to other classes and get it be done there too. That's important. Also remember the theme. Every year there's a theme of Red, White, and Blue. This year's theme is connecting communities, and connecting a community can be a classroom to a classroom, one school to another school, a school to the community, a school district to the community. But the theme this year is connecting communities. So just remember as you're going forward with your work, that's what you want to do. Now, the rubrics, as all of you that are educators know, you do not have to get superior on all of these categories to be recognized as a Red, White, and Blue school. By the way, just to reiterate again, that this is not a program that recognizes individual students. This is a program that recognizes schools and or school districts. So just remember that. And you could see that if we look at the rubric, this is the K5 rubric. Again, you don't have to be proficient even in all of these. You just, in your narrative, when you write your narrative at the end, how are you attempting to address all of the categories of the rubric? All right. Again, I would emphasize, don't worry if it's not superior, but how did you attempt to address all of the categories? And you notice that the first one is, how did the project promote connecting of communities? right? That's all you have to explain. How did the project you're doing attempt to connect communities? And as I said, there's different ways. Communities can be different grades in a school, other schools, and all that. Second category is how did it connect? How were individuals connected? Was it connection, and who did you connect with? Did you connect with schools to schools? Did you connect schools to individuals? Did you connect individuals in your school to other individuals? It's just, what were the connections made in your project? That's what's being asked for, and that's what you write about in the second category. And then in the third category, you can present your end project, whatever your end project is, on how we connected, who we connected with. That can be presented in a wide variety of ways. This can be connected. Your final project, which highlights the connections you made, can be demonstrated through art, through song, through posters, through a podcast, whatever your school, your class. It can be an individual class, it can be a group of classes. Present it in a way that's most appropriate for you. There is no set way to present this. And the fourth one is we would ask that students have some role, if not the entire role, and this might be hard in an elementary context, but the student should have some role in the planning of the projects. We would look less favorably on a project that was totally teacher, administrator directed. We would like you to show how students had some role in the project. And then the fifth category is that the project be appropriate for the grade levels, that some thinking go on so that students in whatever grade you're doing the project would find it meaningful, helpful, and usable. So that the appropriateness of the project is another important thing. And then if we went to the high school rubric, virtually the same, but just to reiterate that the first category is back to that making connections within the school, within schools, or with the school and community. That's again what's being hit in that first category. The second category is, again, are you reaching out in the secondary rubric? It asks for more of reaching to the community. We realize because of age considerations that sometimes is difficult for elementary school students, but for secondary schools, we're really asking for connections. Sure, you can connect to other classes or to schools, but we're emphasizing that some aspect of the community should take place. And again, we're back to presenting these in a variety of ways. There's no set way. If someone did artwork, posters, anything, be imaginative on this and present it in a way that's appropriate for your student. And then the fourth one, again, and this one is a little more emphasized, but have your students have a role in planning this. Sorry, I may sound repetitive, but especially at the secondary level, we would not want these to be planned strictly by teachers. We would want students to have a major role in the creation of these projects. And then step 5, again, it's the appropriateness of the projects for the grade levels involved. So what you would do is you would write at the end, write a narrative, and depending on your school level, explain how you attempted to meet the rubric categories. right? Explain how you attempted to meet the rubric categories. And the final thing from my end, if you really want to do this, and if you have students that want to do this, I can assure you, we can come out and we can either come out, do a Zoom call, but we can absolutely and positively help you. So if you're not sure, hey, I want to do this, I don't know how, get hold of us. We'll help you work through that. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. So the rubrics are on the site. We will be putting them up in Spanish. I know we just finalized the Spanish version, so those will be up shortly as well in case that's needed. But again, I know this is a lot of information and all at once, so feel free to come back to the site, review it, take a look at this webinar again, and reach out to us whenever you need to. And right now, I think I will ask Tara and Jill if there have been any questions in the Q&A that need to be addressed.
Yes, we do have a question. Are there programs for high school STEAM?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Are there programs for high school STEAM? Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
I'm assuming resources is.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, and Steve, you probably can pitch in better on this than I can, but I think there are a number of ways to attach civics to STEAM. I can't think of a particular program that does that. Steve, do you know?
I'll tell you what, I'll do a little bit of digging on that because I know they exist and we'll post them on the website. How about that? And then this week I'll do some digging on that and we'll get that posted on the website for you.
That's great. Thank you.
We do not have any other questions. If anyone else has one, please enter it in the question and answer or in the chat.
Wait one more minute. No? People maybe you're overloaded with information. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do go to the Old State House's website to view the details on this program. And I hope to see submissions from everybody in April. And we look forward to speaking with you throughout. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, folks.
Bye.
Thank you.